Here we go. NFC Championship. We were talking about the spread earlier. It opened as the 49ers 6.5 over the Lions. It's moved to 7, which means there's action being placed on the 49ers. Kind of a surprise when you consider the 49ers didn't look great against the Packers. The Lions haven't been dominant in the postseason.
No, not at all.
They've had 2 home games.
Right.
They won by a point over who'd they beat in the first game?
The Rams.
Why am I blanking? The
Rams.
And the Rams. Duh. The Rams. And then they covered the spread against the Buccaneers, but it felt closer than that and could have been closer than that if Todd Bowles just would have, T for Todd, if he just would have done that. Hey, Todd, what's the first letter of your first name? T. If he just would have done that, maybe they would have covered. Maybe they would have won. So they go on the road now for the first time this postseason. The 49ers at home again, obviously. The forecast is good. No rain. No worries about Brock Purdy and the wet football and the issues he was having on Saturday night. So let's start this one. And we're going to do this in 2 different segments. We're going to start with when the Lions have the ball. Let's break that down. Chris, what do you expect from this team that loves to avoid 3rd and long and has the running backs and the passing game to avoid, more often than not, being stuck in 3rd and long? You don't want Jared Goff to be back there with Nick Bosa and others in his face, because that's when Jared Goff can start coughing the football off.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, I think that's part of the question. Can that front 4 get there? Can the front 4 get there? I think, this is 4 to 5 NFC championships the 49ers have been to. I think this is their worst defense of those 4 championship round defenses. I do. Again, last week, do you remember many times really talking about or thinking about any of the 49ers D linemen, right? That was a Packers O-line that's pretty good too, right? But it's not the just absolute killer collapse the pocket like we've seen from Nick Bosa and company in other years. That's where it's a little different. And we know the Lions can protect. And with Jared Goff, like we talked about on PFT this morning, he's great against the blitz, but he's horrible versus pressure, right? So where can you find that fine line, right? Because if you blitz, they're smart. They're really well coached. Their O-line's damn good and smart too. Goff understands how to redirect the protection and do all that. So they, more times than not, when you blitz, and this is why Todd Bowles didn't blitz, and he's the blitz king of the world last week, didn't blitz that much because he was watching film all week going, man, I don't know, everybody that blitzes these guys, they pick it up and they gash them, right? So that's, to me, where the 49ers are going to have to find the fine line here. I do. And I think really ultimately when it comes down to it, the 49ers, I think, are going to have to blitz. I do. I just think that, one, if they play it straight up, I do think the Lions can run the ball on them a little bit, even though this is a great run defense. And I think Jahmyr Gibbs is phenomenal. You know that. But 2, the Lions have some things in their passing attack that would scare me if I'm the 49ers if I don't blitz and force the issue a little bit. 1, like we said, they can protect. 2, you've heard me say a million times, dating back to the Netflix with Kansas City Chiefs and before that, the Niners are the kings of not letting people throw over the middle and taking away some of those more consistent completion areas. Like that, you've heard me say. Shanahan goes, wait, I kill everybody right here. Don't let everybody kill us right here. All right? Don't do that. And like Mahomes said, whoa, if they're going to play me like that, we can throw the ball deep, we can throw the ball outside the numbers. The Lions are capable and do that. So that's where it's going to be interesting. But the 49ers do play better man-to-man coverage than years past, even though they don't want to do it a ton. So that's where I find it interesting, and it's going to be a good chess match between Steve Wilks and Ben Johnson.
I'm going to try to take away the running game if I'm the 49ers, and I want Jared Goff to beat me. I want Jared Goff to feel the weight of the moment.
Yeah.
And
okay.
I almost want him to become uncomfortable because he's unexpectedly comfortable, if that makes any sense. Like you're saying, don't blitz him. Make him go through his reads. Make him deliver the football accurately. And if he passes that test, then maybe you change it up and try to get after him, especially because they got injuries in the middle of the offensive line. Maybe you can send some guys up the middle and get in his face.
Yeah,
we know that was always the way with Tom Brady.
Right.
Yeah, forget about going around the edge. Go up the middle, and that's what's going to rattle him. Maybe that's what you need to do with Jared Goff. But I like the idea of, and it could be easier said than done when they have Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, get to the ball, use those linebackers to minimize whatever is gained on first and second down, and then drop into coverage, hope Nick Bosa can earn his money in this game, get around the edge and harass Jared Goff and get him to make a mistake. If you can just get him to make a mistake or two, it's almost like the same mindset as the Ravens. Let him, and he's been there before, and I know he's taken a team to a Super Bowl, but we saw what happened in the biggest moment possible. Let's hope that he has that same kind of a misfire in a hostile environment on the road against a defense that, you know, is better than any defense he's faced so far in the postseason.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that thought too. You know, I would err on, yes, let's make Goff uncomfortable early, right? Like you heard me say, I don't think the 49ers are as dominant in the pass rush. Then that doesn't mean I think they have to blitz every play. But I do think there needs to be a splash more of aggressiveness for them, right? They're a little bit like you hear me sometimes say, like, hey, this is what we do. We do these three or four things, and we do it really good. I think they got to maybe bring a curveball or two to the table here and maybe blitz a little bit more than they normally would to compound some of the problems that this Lions offense presents to them on the defensive side of the ball.
All right, here we go. NFC Championship game when the 49ers have the football. And again, 49ers favored by 7, over-under of 51. 55% of the spread money is on the San Francisco 49ers. They've got Christian McCaffrey. They've got George Kittle. They've got Brock Purdy. They've got Trent Williams. They might not have Deebo Samuel. We'll see. Brandon Ayuk as well, who was a second-team All-Pro this year. What does that offense do against a Lions defense that has shown it is not stout against the pass? I think it was Mike Tirico who said during the Bucs-Lions game that the Lions secondary is not good. So,
AKA
how does that play out when it's time to try to wait? How does that
Excuse me.
Boy, that would have been great. I would have given him a big pile of money if he had said caca on the air. And bless you, by the way.
Thank you.
And bless you again.
Thank you.
Bless you again. Keep sneezing in the show. We'll go to caca. All right, 49ers offense, what do they do against the Lions defense, which is caca on the back end?
Yeah, that's the big question because, right, the 49ers are a running team, if not the best running team in football, right? So that's what they want to do. The Lions stop the run, right? Brock Purdy threw the ball like shit last week and played horrible. I mean, horrible. The Lions, not great at pass defense, but also very good, like we saw last week, at disguising and bringing a blitz every now and then that the quarterback doesn't see coming because they don't give you any clues. They almost do it in an unsound way at times, right? Where we saw early in the game, Baker Mayfield get caught off guard a few times, and I was like, damn, how could Baker miss that? Then I watch film and I go, well, I see how they missed that. Like, that came out of nowhere. The quarterback had no clues. Aaron Glenn's very good at that, let alone the interception at the end of the game kind of did the same thing. So that's where I get into, right? We talk about teams. Hey, this is what brought us here. We can't leave that. The 49ers, running the football, Christian McCaffrey. But damn, you've heard me talk about it all year. The Lions, one, are really good at stopping the run and big up front. And two, will go all in on situations, which you've heard me talk about a lot, right, Mike? Where if you get in a run set, they go, we're going all in to stop the run. And if you get in the shotgun and go empty, they go, we're dropping 8 and only going to rush 3. You've heard me say, if it's 3rd and 1, they go all in to stop that. If it's 3rd and 4, they go all in to stop the 4-yard pass. That's what they do. That could be dangerous against Shanahan, though. That could be. That's where you got to work. Shanahan's the ultimate zig when you zag. You do this, well, I got this to screw you over this week. You better watch out. And, typically the Lions match up against that personnel set, like you heard me say. If you go 2 backs, 1 tight end, 2 receivers, they go, bring in the big boys. We got to stop the run. But the 49ers in those sets can go, hey, you got the big boys in. Now we're going to be in shotgun. McCaffrey against one of your big run-stopping linebackers. McCaffrey's like a legit slot receiver. Juszczyk's like a really good tight end. Kittle, Deebo, Ayuk. That's where it could pose some problems for the Lions, and I'll be interested to see their approach because I would bet you that's what Shanahan wants to do. What are they going to do when I go 2 backs, 1 tight end, and then he's going to kind of base the game off of that?
And we talked about that earlier on PFT Live. Bait
Right.
them into putting their big guys in there and then spread them out.
I
Swiss
can see
Army
that.
knife,
Right.
Christian McCaffrey,
Right.
Kyle Juszczyk, move guys around and let Brock Purdy do his thing. And look, it's amazing how Brock Purdy has become so polarizing. There's a group out there that says this guy sucks no matter what and he's overrated. And then there's a group that's like, he's Joe Montana already. And you can rattle off any stats you want. When you're the captain of a highly potent offense, yes, you're going to have some statistics you can point to that would compare favorably to statistics generated by other quarterbacks. That doesn't mean those other quarterbacks wouldn't do just as well
Thank you.
working with Kyle
That's
Shanahan
right.
in that offense.
Right.
But it really is amazing. I mean, and people get so triggered about this. Like, don't you dare say a bad thing about Brock Purdy. Well, if he wins the Super Bowl, I won't say a bad thing about him. But we've seen Christmas night against the Ravens. And I know some of those were just bad luck. Shit happens.
Yeah.
The ball goes up in
Oh,
the air
sure,
and somebody just happens to be where it comes down. We saw the game against the Vikings. There are moments where it may be too big for him so far. Maybe he can rise up to it. This is his test. This is his challenge. And what's riding on it is the possibility if he pisses down his leg, and I'm not saying he will, but if he does, you get Kyle Shanahan with his wandering eye. Who else is out there that I can have play quarterback to finally get us over the hump?
I hear you.
As they go from quarterback to quarterback to quarterback to quarterback. They did it to Jimmy Garoppolo. They did it to Trey Lance before he even got a chance to really be the week in and week out starter. They'll do it to Brock Purdy. They were going to do it with Tom Brady. They were going to bring Brady in before Purdy even had a chance to have the year that he had. So I'll make my pick again.
All right, but so you're saying, though, in that, you would err if you're the Lions on don't let them run, bring it, and let me see if Brock Purdy can beat us, right? That's kind of what you're saying,
put it in
right?
his hands.
Okay, right.
Yes. Make him beat us. Because if I make Christian McCaffrey beat us, he will.
Yeah.
I'm taking away McCaffrey, or at least trying to take away McCaffrey,
Right.
And I'm going to make Brock Purdy beat us. And maybe he will against a defensive secondary that, to quote Mike Tirico again, is not good. Okay, it's not good for me to abandon my preseason Super Bowl picks. I just can't do it. I never want to be accused of trying to have it both ways, and I fully appreciate the fact that you're willing to try to have it both ways. I'm not criticizing you of doing it.
I know.
I just
all
don't want to
good.
open myself up to it.
I hear you.
So I'm taking the 49ers to win, 24-21. Lions cover. 49ers win, 24-21. Brock Purdy passes the test and takes the team to the Super Bowl, thanks in part to the defense and Christian McCaffrey.
It's funny, right? The matchups, right? It's like the NFC is more team-oriented. The AFC, we're like, give the ball to the quarterbacks and they'll figure it out, and those defenses won't want to mess with them. And the NFC, we're like, put all the pressure on the quarterbacks. I'm not sure they can deliver. It is funny. I'm going Niners as well. I think the Niners have been in a class of their own in the NFC all year long. I'm not going to abandon them now. And I think last week, in a lot of ways, would be a wake-up call. Now, hey, it's certainly fair to question. Did the 49ers peak too early this year? I don't know. This week will answer that a little bit. But last week's the kind of win where the coach can be really pissed off. We won, and the players are scared going, oh, gosh, if we play like that again, we're going home. I'm taking the Niners 30-20 at home, and we get Ravens 49ers, rematch in the Super Bowl.
Well, I got Chiefs 49ers rematch in the Super Bowl. Either way, it's a rematch if the 49ers win.
Yo, what up, homies? Thanks for watching. Remember, subscribe to Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Right now, we got Sunday pod, right? So you can have it Monday morning. We recap all the action. Wednesday, it's the What the Happened podcast. We're going to get deep in the weeds on the key matchups of the week. And then Thursday, I'm picking games with that jerk Florio. So you know where to find us, homies. Keep watching. Peace out. We'll see you.